Good evening to you, viewers. Welcome to the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe television, where we are broadcasting in Douala, the nation's economic capital. I am Innocent Aze. In our major stories, 2 more persons have died in a landslide in Limbe, Fako division of the southwest region of the country. This happened this Friday following heavy rainfalls. The 2 victims are an old woman and her grandson. It is happening 42 hours after 2 men died in similar incidents. Also in this edition of the newscast, several homes, shops and business kiosks have been demolished at Antre Cheffery in the Douala 5 subdivision. The exercise carried out by agents of municipal police of the Douala 5 council aims at widening and also maintaining the roads in order to enhance flexible circulation. Those were major stories. Good evening once more. Thanks for choosing Equinoxe TV for your 6 p.m. primetime newscast. Now, we begin with news in the southwest region of Cameroon, notably in the Fako division, and to be precise, Cassava Farm, where 2 persons have died in a landslide after heavy rainfall this Friday. The victims, an old woman and her grandson. We have more in this report compiled by Malak Glory.
The landslide struck a residential area in the town of Limbe in the early hours of Friday. An old woman and her grandson were trapped in the mud. The incident was provoked by heavy rains that has been pouring in Limbe for the past 4 days.
3 a.m. Yes. We just shoot off a house. We hear a noise. My neighbor can't know me say house on collapse to that side. We want to look at him. Show say ground on cover, picking and mommy for house. Then we start the zik, and from there we start the zik, and then we move the way they already die. You can see a picking. You can move go. He be born, so you can move go. You can take care of picking.
The 2 later died due to lack of immediate assistance. The landslide destroyed buildings as some houses were found hanging on the edge of a crater, indicating greater dangers in future. While on the visit to the site, the divisional officer of Fako warned against constructing in risk zones and called on those occupying such areas to evacuate. The city mayor of Limbe, Paul Efomelisombole, in a release published on July 20th, he expressed his deep concern on the population of Limbe and equally recommended the immediate evacuation of persons residing in all risk zones. He adds that the local authorities will update the population as everything is under control. The result brings to 5 the number of people who have died in Limbe in the space of 2 days as a result of natural disaster.
And now I'm here in the economic capital city, Douala. Several houses, shops and business kiosks have been demolished or the businesses erected and stationed along the road from Antre Cheffery, or better still, the entrance into the Cheffery quarter in Makepe Misoke Douala 5 subdivision have been demolished by the Douala 5 council police. The demolition launched today is expected to touch many homes, shops and kiosks right down to Pont Cassé and further. Many people jumped in the rain, struggling to save their belongings. According to the Douala 5 council agents, the exercise aims at liberating those occupying a portion of the roads. This will permit the Douala 5 council to widen the roads and ensure its tarring that will enhance flexible circulation. For years now, circulation in and out of the neighborhood has been practically hectic, not just due to the bad state of the stretch of roads, but incivility of locals occupying a section of the roads, making it narrow. The rainfall did not stop the Douala 5 council agents from hijacking the illegal occupants of the public roads for maintenance work to soon begin. And still in Douala, it has been a rainy day. That's in the economic capital city, hindering many people from going to their offices and job sites. Economic activities also paralyzed. And apart from all these, an inundation in some neighborhoods, degraded roads in the heart of the city, like the Monaco omnisport stretch of roads, have been rendered impassable as the craters turned to deep lakes, scaring taxi drivers and drivers of low vehicles who are compelled to make a U-turn. Some who brave driving into the now-termed Monaco Lakes allowed water enter their vehicles or risk severe damages. Many have been falling in the Monaco Lakes as bike riders scramble on the pedestrian tracks. Nearby shops and homes are inundated by water from the deep and long craters whenever heavy-duty trucks drive in them. The gravel and sand have all filled the drainage channels. Some have formed small hills, making circulation at Monaco a nightmare. Some drivers and bike riders have either stopped using the roads or are compelled to use a longer route. Inhabitants of the Panda Monaco, drivers and bike riders have cried out severally to authorities of the Douala City Council for over 3 months for intervention, but these seem to have fallen on deaf ears. Several media reports have not yielded any fruit. The Douala City Council mayor recently assured that they are currently working to rehabilitate the broken roads in the city of Douala to enhance flexible circulation, and it is a matter of patience and time. And the artificial lakes that you saw there are just just a few of the craters found on the Monaco stretch of roads. And now we talk something else now to say Cameroonian authorities involved in the 7 billion franc CFA Glencoe Scandal might soon be identified and brought down. And President Paul Biya has been requested to authorize a legal investigation into the scandal through the Ministry of Justice. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
Scandal, which is now back on the limelight, was revealed to Cameroonians by renowned anti-corruption lawyer Barrister Akere Muna. This scandal and saga is back on the newsstands in Cameroon following a letter and plea to President Paul Biya to authorize a legal investigation into the confessions made by Glencoe in the United States court last year. On May 24, 2022, the Swiss trading giant admitted to paying out some CFA 7 billion between 2007 and 2018 to top executives of the National Hydrocarbons Company, the SNH, and the National Oil Refinery Company, the Sonara, in Cameroon. The letter from the SNH director Adolphe Modiki asked President Paul Biya to authorize Justice Minister Laurent Esso to open a legal investigation in order to identify Cameroonians involved in the last scandal, a radical change in position for Modiki, who denied in a statement dated May 30, 2022 that his company was associated with financial malpractices. Cameroonian authorities like himself adopted a disturbing silence despite the acceptance from Glencoe and a host of measures taken up by Barrister Akere Muna. This week, for example, Akere Muna wrote to the head of the Customs Office, Edwin Fongot Novaga, the head of the Tax Office, Roger Atanas, and the head of the Financial Crimes Investigation Unit, ANIF, asking them to take over the matter. Given the fast legal actions and compensations obtained by Nigeria, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and other countries in Africa, the inaction from Cameroonian authorities remained a veritable problem. Observers, however, say that the letter sent to President Paul Biya while in Switzerland can be explained as a response to the pressure mounted on Cameroon from the Financial Surveillance Task Force and the Extraction Industries Transparency Initiative.
And Anabila, in the report coming up next, tells us that there has been widespread condemnation over the prosecution of a 17-year-old writer, Masuka Omo Hani. She is castigating some social ills in the Adamawa, her region of origin, the village head of Idol. The village she mentions in her publication has sued her for defaming and a fine of 150 million francs CFA.
A 17-year-old author, Masuka Omuhani, is being persecuted after publishing her book titled Mon Père ou Mon Destin, Better Still My Father or My Destiny. In her publication, the adolescent denounces some oppressive patriarchal practices of her region of origin, the Adamawa. These include domestic violence, forceful marriages, and superstition, while sensitizing on the need for girl-child education. Dr. Nyahans Nda is an author and thinks what is happening to Masuka Omo is unfortunate to the Cameroonian society.
I must say it is an unfortunate situation. I must congratulate this little girl for at her age publishing a work, and for her to find herself in the court is very sad. But I must say that we should stop looking at we should stop looking at the girl and focus on the content of her work. What she has done, is it true?
The writer who recently launched a publication thinks young creative authors like Masuka Omo should be encouraged, especially if their book is castigating a real societal malaise.
As a publisher, I would think that these are the type of books I would like to publish, especially young children. A lady like that one, I think that she has to be congratulated for what she has done. We have to, see what we can do to shift her from being a victim to be a hero, because what she's done is a deed that is heroic in dimension.
The young Masuka Omo, who just succeeded in her baccalaureate examination, was at the Uganda Court of First Instance to answer charges of defamation and a 150 million fine by the village head of Ido, the name she used in her book. The court case has been adjourned to August 17 with a legal counsel of over 13 lawyers to defend the young author.
And let's now listen to this extract selected by Annabella of Dr. Nyahans, who stresses more on the defamation claim or the fine to be issued this lady.
Here in Cameroon, I must say that we've got people who write, but few people who have their works published. And sometimes, although it is creativity which is a part of the mind, it needs some research. And the challenge is that sometimes this research, sometimes we don't find material that we can research on in order to improve upon the quality of our works. So I want to think that despite the challenges, we keep pushing on to see to it that we make the best of what we can do that we have available in our country. Now, I must say that using arts or creative arts in order to propagate gospel or in order to air our views that will go along to change society is sometimes very tricky. Tricky in the sense that there may be some subjects that are very, very sensitive, and one has to be very, very careful the way one handles information. But again, we must not also forget the fact that telling the truth is primordial. No society can ever prosper on the foundation of falsehood. Truth is the foundation of any given society. And as a writer, we have that responsibility to tell the truth, to write the truth, because even the Bible says that it is only the truth that can set us free. And even in the secular world, any society that is not built on the foundation of the truth is bound to failure. And as writers, we strive as much as possible to be able to depict reality with the hope of impacting society positively.
And let's talk education. While some results of some official examinations have been published, others are yet to, and candidates psychology, mostly those who do not succeed in their examinations, remain preoccupying. Our reporter Lucy Ese Liangu spoke to some parents and an educational psychologist on how students who fail examinations should be treated. She compiled this report.
As results of official examinations are being published across the country, the psychological well-being of a candidate, especially those who couldn't make it, is preoccupying. Over the years, we have seen candidates who have gone through depression because they failed. Talking to some parents in the city of Douala, they think students who do not succeed in examination should be encouraged.
Il y a les enfants qui ne veulent pas étudier, alors il faut avoir la patience avec les enfants.
As failure is not the end of the world.
Il doit accepter la défaite. Ce n'est pas la fête du monde. S'il a échoué l'année, si l'année prochaine il va se corriger, il peut passer.
Following up a student is important for his or her education.
Là, envoyer l'enfant avec un départ, il sera satisfait de tout ça. Il faut suivre, contacter les parents, contacter les élèves et puis voir qu'est-ce ne va pas, qu'est-ce qui va.
Thus, educational psychologists advise parents to embrace their children when they are not fortunate. Following up a child should be the principal role of a parent.
Et par la suite, n'est-ce pas, de le consoler en démontrant qu'il n'est pas le seul responsable et qu'un échec, c'est une situation partagée.
Every child should be questioned on the possible reasons that contributed to his or her failure.
De parler justement de cet examen, des conditions dans lesquelles il a composé, des circonstances qui auraient conduit à son échec.
Bullying, shouting or rejecting the child is not a solution according to psychologists, but a factor that can contribute to the child's failure in the following year.
À subir moins le traumatisme qu'il a subi de par l'échec qu'il a eu.
Parents are also advised to show understanding and sympathy instead of entering into an open war with a child who fails.
C'est dans un premier temps de laisser l'enfant exprimer totalement sa frustration. Il y en a qui veulent pleurer, il faut les laisser pleurer. Il y en a qui veulent crier, il faut les laisser crier. Il y en a qui vont même développer des tendances suicidaires, il faut laisser les développer jusqu'au bout.
Results of the baccalaureate examinations were released earlier this week, with 75.73% pass across the country compared to last year's 65.94%.
And now the organizing committee of Nous, Frunzi's funeral have reassured Cameroonians that his body will be laid to rest in his native Baba 2 in Santa subdivision. The reassurance was given on Thursday, July 20, at his starting residence in Bamenda during a press conference. It was also confirmed that the days scheduled for the burial program, that is July 27 to the 29, 2023, will be maintained despite the rising insecurity. This reassurance comes in after part of the SDF chairman's house in Babatu was set ablaze by suspected separatist fighters on July 14, who were against the burial of John Frunzi's remains in their land. The organizing committee, however, reassures public opinion that strong security measures will be taken to ensure that the burial of the historic politician be done smoothly. Around 9 people have reported deaths and 16 others wounded in a bomb blast in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday. And in Kenya, demonstrations continue in Kenya's capital city, Nairobi, as opposition leaders decry high cost of living. A roundup of these stories on our international page with Malak Glory.
9 people have died and 16 severely injured after an explosive device accidentally detonated in a field in the conflict area of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The blast occurred on Wednesday evening in Lubui Sud in North Kivu province. Local sources say a civilian had picked up a bomb in a field and given it to a militia man when it subsequently exploded. 9 people were killed and 16 injured. A nurse at a nearby clinic confirmed the death, explaining that 2 people died on the spot and 7 later succumbed to severe wounds. Some of the 16 wounded people are in critical condition. The rebel campaign has displaced over 1 million people, according to the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. In a June 2023 report, Human Rights Watch further accused the group of committing murder, rape and other crimes in recent months. And in Kenya, isolated clashes between police and stone-throwing demonstrators fled in the country's capital, Nairobi, on Thursday, despite most people largely ignoring a call by the opposition to expose anti-government protest. Veteran opposition leader Raila Odinga called for 3 days of demonstrations this week, resulting in 6 deaths and dozens injured, and putting pressure on local hospitals. Since the month of March, 20 people have died in the demonstrations called by Odinga, who says President William Ruto's government is illegitimate and responsible for the high cost of living in the country. Some of the injured say they were caught up in the protest by accident. The police response to the demonstrations has sparked outrage from rights groups, with Amnesty condemning the use of excessive force. The protests have increased pressure on population already struggling with galloping inflation.
We end this newscast. So the Northwest Regional Champions, Bafoussam United, on Thursday failed to book a place at the playoffs of the National Interpols ongoing in Yaoundé. The team lost 2-3 to Puma FC in their third outing. Despite the loss, the team continues to top Group B with 6 points. Bafoussam next and final match comes up on Saturday, July 22nd. That will be tomorrow, as the next one, Omnisport Stadium, Yaoundé, at 3 p.m. against Gaoundéré FC. Another encounter that played on Thursday was between Olympique of Biwong Bane and Krimi FC. That saw Olympique defeating Krimi FC 3-1. And that's where we end the 6 p.m. newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thanks so much for watching. Do have a splendid evening and a nice weekend. Bye-bye.